Mr. Williamson, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us today here at Tivoli.
Yes.
We're excited, and I just wanted to start a little bit with maybe giving a little history about who you are and where you come from.
I'm Eddie Williamson, and I'm the president of the Tivoli Historical Society. And I was born and raised in Walden County. I was educated here in Walden County, went on to Georgia for further education, 4 years of college there, and then ended up working for Walt Disney World for 7 years, and then I moved back here to set up my own business.
Wow, wonderful. So you were born and raised in Walton County, went to school here. We're here today at the Tivoli Historical Museum that's housed here at the administration offices for Walton County Schools, and they're doing tours in regards to all the historical significance of not just Tivoli, but there were other schools.
Yes, it was.
If I understand correctly.
Yes, ma'am.
And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. I just wanted to thank you for giving us the tour. Thank you for taking the time to share with us. So let's go back. Let's go back a little bit to when you were growing up and your first remembrance of school and where that was and what did that look like and what time frame, what era of time?
Okay, in 1955, they opened Chapel Hill. They had closed down Poplar Springs at that time, and they were closing some of the feeder schools that was feeding into Tivoli.
Okay.
They opened Chapel Hill. This is what was called at the point. It was from the 1st grade through the 8th grade. And I went to elementary school there all the way through the 8th grade and out and then into Tivoli.
And that would be like an elementary, middle school that we know today. We have the elementary, then we have the middle. Well, it was a combined. It was a combined, and that was Poplar Springs?
No, it was Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill. And here in the museum, there is actually some memorabilia that they have from the Chapel Hill School.
That's right. We moved in a case from every school just about that we have that was put together in Walden County. There was 15 schools.
Wow.
And what it was that we had 5 Rosenwald schools in Walden County.
And tell us what the Rosenwald schools are. I know I've researched that, but for those viewers that don't know what the Rosenwald schools were, tell us a little bit about what that was.
What it is that Julian Rosenwald was the founder of Sears and Roebuck, and he was the president and owner of it, along with Booker T. Washington, who helped establish Tuskegee Institute. At that time, that's what it was called, Tuskegee Institute, and then it became later Tuskegee University. Booker T. teamed up with Julian Rosenwald, and what it was that they combined together to go before Congress and talk to Congress about putting schools into the South. That was right after the Civil War. And by them teaming up with the federal government and also some independent, fairly well-off people, they were able to bring into the South quite a few schools to start educating black students. And Booker T and Julian Rosenwald together did a tremendous work, not only just in the area of North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, Louisiana, Florida, across the deep South. And it gave us an opportunity here in Walden County to be a recipient of 5 of those schools.
Wow, 5 of those schools.
5 of those schools were located right here. And Tivoli ended up being the largest. And it became, over a period of time, the high school, the first and only black high school that was ever in Walden County. And we had the other 15 schools were feeder schools that fed into Tivoli.
Okay.
These schools, we had Mount Zion, which was in the Paxton area. It was a feeder school for this area. Out of Freeport area, we had a school down there called Liberia, and it fed up into this area. Also Bruce Creek, Chapel Hill, these schools all combined to feed students into Tivoli.
Right.
Tivoli began to grow. It started out as elementary school, but then later these classes began to add on from 3rd to 5th grade, and from 5th grade to 8th grade, and from 8th to 9th, and then we had the first graduating senior class to come out of Tivoli in 1937.
Wow, wow.
12 students.
So in Walton County, we had 15 black schools, 5 of which were these Rosenwald schools, which it sounds to me like were prestigious
That's right.
schools that were identified to be established in the Deep South.
That's right.
That probably got funding, so
They did.
books and supplies,
They did.
where it had to be very difficult for individuals to be able to maintain the books or the supplies and things, that Rosenwald helped supplement.
That's it. The federal government, along with the community, now the community put in so many dollars. I was surprised at the number of black people that contributed, because it was a cost sharing.
Okay.
And there was quite a few that was able, even though they made just meager amounts of money, they could
Right.
barely live.
Right.
But yet they were willing to contribute to educate their children.
And do you know around what year the first one was established here, Mr. Williamson?
The first schools that we have on record now, all the way back, we traced them back to 1884.
Oh, wow.
And we have brought them up through the county records now. These are all documented right here in the county records.
Okay.
And we have them, we found every one of them.
From
And
1884.
1884 all the way up to the closing of Tivoli in 1969.
How about that?
Yep, and we found the locations. We know exactly where the locations are of all of these schools, especially the Rosenwald schools. We have 3 of those Rosenwald schools still standing today.
Oh, wow.
Out of the
Wonderful.
5.
Wonderful. Guys, just want to bring you up to date. We're here today at the Walton County School Board Administration's office, which also houses the Historical Tivoli Society Museum. In each one of the cases that you will see, there is different information regarding individuals who were very significant in the Tivoli and other schools throughout Walton County. And we're here with Mr. Williamson, who is a lifelong resident of Walton County, sharing with us about the very significant history that is here. So if you're not aware that there is a actual museum inside of our school board administration offices, we highly recommend that you come, pay a visit, look at all of the memorabilia that they have collected, and I understand you have more.
Yes, we do. We have only about 305 pieces here now, but we have over 600 pieces that we can't even put in simply because we don't have the space.
Don't have the space, absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about the refurbishing of the gym. What's going on with that, and what is the significance of that?
Okay, the gymnasium was built in 1960. And it was a centerpiece for the school and for this community on the east side of the Finiac Springs. And right now, we in a program in which we are trying through the school board, along with the county commissioners and the city council, to refurbish the entire building. And the reason why is this. We know without a shadow of a doubt that this building can be a game changer on the east side of the Finiac Springs. It can also reunite a lot of this community and also upgrade the community. We are trying to step up security in the area, and also now we have been deeded the property where the gymnasium is.
Awesome.
And also we're still working now along with several other groups to help put it back together. We had great contributions from the St. Joe Corporation, Lowe's right here in Finiac Springs. The management of Lowe's got with us, and they've been working very closely with us. Ms. Laura and her team. It's been just a tremendous project for all of the Finiac Springs. We have 28 churches who have contributed into this project. And we put a top on the building. The top, brand new top, was $53,000.
Oh, wow.
And those funds were raised right here in the community.
Wow.
We put brand new doors in it. We put all brand new lighting in it. We've insulated the top in the building. And now we're down to the part where we are getting ready now to do the floors and also putting the gymnastic equipment in the building.
Okay.
And the next thing is to replace the windows. We want to keep the natural light in this building, and right now we just right at the edge of where we are just needing more funds.
Yeah.
Because the funds that we've raised, they're getting very low.
Sure.
Okay, and so St. Joe came back and gave us some more funds in order to work on the bathrooms.
Okay.
And so we just got that grant in, $15,000, and we're going to be putting that towards the bathrooms. And we're asking now for other funds if possible. We need the air conditioning system put in. It never had any air and heating in the building. And so that alone is over $80,000. And so we are reaching now in the community and trying to find other donors who are willing to step to the plate and say, you know, we'll help y'all.
Okay.
And that's what we really need so much right now.
Right.
We're just right at that point. And so all of the donations, we are a 501(c) group.
Okay.
And so therefore all of those can be, you know, we
Tax write-off.
deductible.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And so if someone wants to contribute, if someone wanted to get involved, if someone wanted to know more information, what is the best way for them to get in contact? And
Well,
who do they need to contact?
Okay, there's several of us that's on the board at which they can call myself. My phone number is area code 850-836-4204. Ms. Darce Johnson, 1877.
Okay.
Okay. And Mr. Raymond Jackson is 850 585-9601.
And guys, you can always contact Keith at the local TV station here at Coastal Connection TV. He will have that information to be able to pass off to you so that if you just want to get some more information about what's taking place with the restoration of the Tivoli Gym, be glad to get you that information. Mr. Williamson, we're excited about what's going to be happening and is already happening within the restoration. I live on the east side of town, not far from here. I mean, I could just throw a rock where I live, and so I'm very excited about what the vision is in regards to this gymnasium and the restoration of it. And I too, like you, believe it will be a game changer, not just for the east side, but for the whole community. We need a place to gather, and that can be this place.
Okay, and another thing which I would like to mention to the people is this, that we're going to have some after-school programs, some tutor programs, some summer programs, some summer league in there. Our children really are not getting enough exercise.
Right.
And in our school system now, they hardly want to participate in physical ed.
Yeah.
And we really want our children to exercise more.
Right.
And so we're going to have some summer basketball leagues in there, volleyball leagues in there, kickball, all the things that kids will really get interested in. It'll also be some educational points because we do have an excellent reading program.
Yes.
It's already in place.
Right.
And we're working with our children in that reading program. A math program.
Right.
We're putting in some things that we know that will benefit the children.
Right.
And also we're going to work with some of the seniors. We do have a lot of the senior citizens who are at the point now where they can't fill out government papers. We're going to help them with those things. And we're going to try to provide all these services through this building.
Yes.
And so what we really need are volunteers who don't mind about helping and those who don't mind about contributing to keep it moving.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited. And again, guys, we're here with Mr. Williamson, who is the president of the Historical Tivoli Society. And if you need further information regarding Tivoli and what's going on with the refurbishing of the gymnasium, or if you'd just like to come out and check out all the artifacts that they have here with the historical black schools that were here, come to the Walton County School Administration offices, and in each one of the cabinets you can see some of the very significant individuals and artifacts that they have. So, Mr. Williamson, thank you so much. I look forward to being in contact with you guys and seeing what the future brings. Thank you.
I'm Anna Cogdell, a member of the Tivoli Historical Society, and with me is Eleanor Milton, also a member of the society. And we're just giving a tour of a part of the Tivoli Historical Museum. We'll begin with the photos on the wall, the portraits of the classes, beginning with the class of 1963. And at that time, Mr. T.P. Campbell was the principal, and Ms. Helen Wright was the homeroom teacher for this particular graduating class. In the class of 64, Mr. Campbell was the principal, and Ms. Laura Grayson was the homeroom teacher. This means that she picked these kids up in 9th grade and was with them until they graduated, until they were seniors. Then the class of 65, Mrs. Bernice Bethair was the homeroom teacher, Mr. Campbell was the principal. And the Tivoli class of 66, again, Mr. Campbell was the principal, and Mrs. Campbell, who happened to be his wife, was the homeroom teacher for this, Mrs. Ayara Campbell. And then the class of 67, Mr. Campbell was the principal, and Miss Mary Woodett was the homeroom teacher. The class of 68, Mr. Campbell was the principal, and Mr. Alva Campbell was the advisor, and he was also the brother to Mr. T.P. Campbell.
And let me say something right here. This was probably the greatest class that ever graduated, the class of 1968, because I was a member of that class.
Well, I, couldn't agree with that. 65 was better. But anyway, now the class of 69, Miss Mary Graves was one of the sponsors, and Mrs. Neolis Robinson, and Mr. Campbell was the principal. And this was the year that Tivoli closed. So this was the last graduating class from what was then known as Tivoli High School. Okay, these were some of the teachers and administrators of the Chapel Hill School. We refer to it as in the Valley. And they had kids from 1st through 8th grade, and once they get 8th grade, then they transferred to Tivoli High School. So they picked up their freshman year, sophomore, and senior here at Tivoli. But they started out at Chapel Hill, and these were some of the teachers, the principal, and some of the students during that time, some of the help that worked there, some of the people that worked there. Okay, this display exhibits pictures of our queens and clubs throughout the years. These were Miss Tivoli's, the New Homemakers, the NHA and the NFA, New Homemakers of America and New Farmers of America. These show Miss Tivoli and her court, the student council. These were first and second and third graders back in 1950, fifth and sixth graders. And shows the different groupings. This was a kindergarten. The kindergarten was at Bethel Presbyterian Church, and once you graduated kindergarten, you came to first grade at Tivoli. Okay, this showcases some additional teachers at Tivoli and some of our students that have gone on to do bigger and better things. But Mr. Russ was the civics teacher. He was sort of a icon around here. It's Dorothy Wilson Scott, first grade teacher. She and her mom taught. And Ms. Watley was at
Mount Zion Elementary.
At Mount Zion Elementary, as the principal, right?
No, she was just a teacher.
Oh, she was a teacher there, okay. And also our alma mater, our school song that we still sing at all of the gatherings of when we have reunions and banquets and programs. We always include the singing of our alma mater.
Okay, some of the things that we have exhibited in this case are New Farmers of America. Before it was known as Future Farmers of America. And the sponsor for the New Farmers of America during this particular period was Mr. James Barge. And I would like to say that they were also very well known because when they would go to the competitions, they usually won the parliamentary procedure trophy. And then we have some pictures from 1945 that different people in that class sort of donated. That's how we were able to get this collection of artifacts. People had these and kept them all those years, and they either donated them to us or allowed us to make copies. And the Future Homemakers of America during that same time period was sponsored. The sponsor was Miss Bernice Buffet, and that's this picture here with the group at that time. And then, of course, we became known instead of the New Homemakers of America, we were the Future Homemakers of America after integration.
You may have to drive or move away to get a good. Hi guys, I'm Shani Betts here with Coastal Connection TV, and we are here with Mr. Andrews and Mr. Jackson at the Walton County School Board offices, and we're actually here today doing a history tour on the historic Tivoli School. But we have some gentlemen here that also have history just within themselves of being in this area. So I'm going to introduce them. Mr. Jackson?
Andrew.
Mr. Andrews.
Jackson over
Mr.
there.
Jackson. You're here today. You're born and raised in the Walton County area?
Right.
All your life?
All my life.
And your family from the Walton County area?
Right.
All the way. And where would that be located? Where were you guys?
Now my mother and them was born down there on what you call Hogan Loop.
Hogan Loop. Your family was born on Hogan Loop.
Yeah, my mother was.
Your mother was, okay. And that is out towards Red Bay.
Right.
Okay. On Highway 81.
Highway 81.
Okay, beautiful area out there.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And yourself, born and raised in Walton County?
Walton County, on Hogan Loop. The first home as you turn into it,
Okay.
right across from Mount Olive Church.
Okay, right across from Mount Olive Church. Okay, you go down there, and then there's a brick house. Is it back that way? Back?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right, back there.
Yes.
So we're here and wanting to talk to these gentlemen about the history. Now, did either of you attend the schools that we are here today learning about?
Yes.
Yes, okay. And you want to share a little bit, if you don't mind, a little bit, what grades?
Well, I started school when I was 4 years old. And because after the new school was burnt down, we started going to Mount Olive.
Okay.
And it was right across the road from my home.
Okay.
So my brothers and all that went off to school, so I went too.
Okay.
So I started school 4 years
At
old.
4 years, so you was like in a pre-K. Now we have the
Yep.
pre-K programs. You actually was in one of the first pre-K programs.
I was in the first grade, because I
Okay.
graduated from high school when I was 16 years old.
Wonderful.
So I went through, we had school there at Mount Olive. Then when Miss Wolf became principal, we went to Church of Christ, and first through the 8th grade. And when the 8th grade, I came to Tivoli
Okay.
in 1952.
In 1952, you
Right.
went to the Tivoli.
Right.
And that is down in the Ponce de Leon area, Highway 81.
Right.
You know, some people would call it the valley, but it's actually in the Red Bay.
Red Bay
It's the
area.
extended Red Bay area
Yeah,
over
right,
there.
right.
And so in 1952, you actually come to the
Tivoli
Tivoli, which
here.
is here.
Right.
And were you the graduating class of
1956,
1956? Wonderful.
several years ago.
Several years ago. Well, you look great, Mr. To be able to know that you were of the graduating class of 1956, that you don't look like you were of the graduating class of 1956. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I know that you grew up in that area.
Just up above Hogan Loop. I started where I was born and raised at up there. I went to school at Mount Olive,
Okay,
and we left there, went to Church of Christ,
okay,
and left there. I come down to Tivoli.
okay,
And I didn't graduate from Tivoli because during that time, I know about me and my mother and sister, and our house burned down. And I had to stop school to go to work. And I stopped school and I went to work. I stopped in the 11th grade,
okay,
but I went to night school
okay.
and finished.
Okay.
I got my diploma.
All right. So this Mount Olive School that's out there in the Red Bay area, that would be if you're at North Hogan Loop Road. Is that right across the road?
Rest Strawford Road from Mount Olive.
And then you go right up the road a little bit further, and there is the Church of Christ there on the, if you're going towards Ponce de Leon, it'd be right there on the
On
right.
the right.
Is that still the same location of where the schools were located?
Yes.
Right.
Okay, it's just that they're different, of course, now.
Yeah, they done rebuild and all that,
Right,
remodeling and all that.
right. So those two churches, because I know there's a Triumph Church across the
Right.
road, Miss Ruth Gibson,
Right.
I believe is the pastor there. But this one church is across the road, but I didn't see any, when I was out there, any historical markers. Is there any historical markers that you know of designating them as those schools? I don't think, I didn't,
No,
I didn't
there's
see
no-
anything.
no,
Okay.
there's
We
not.
need to look at having something to let people know about the designation, because I don't know if you've seen or not, but here recently we have plaques around Lake Defuniak that is showing the historical significance. It would be great if we had something like that around the whole county.
Right.
That showed the significance of the different areas, because that is a huge significance in the area there. So you dropped out of school, had to support the family,
Right.
and went back to night school. And so I understand you were a logger,
Yeah, I was a logger.
working the logging field.
Yeah.
And that would be out in that area?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, which brings us to another topic of discussion. I know when I've been talking with Mr. Williamson about my interest of that area, Indian Chief Sam Story. Any information you can share about him with us would be really interesting for us to know. Guys, for those that may not know, Indian Chief Sam Story was, from my understanding, one of the first settlers that we know of historically here in the Walton County area.
Right.
That's documented, and actually is buried out in that area. And so, can you tell us anything that you may know or have heard passed down through the generations?
Well, all I can tell you about Sam's story, he was, in this area, and they got a little lake down there they used to call Sam Story Landing.
Okay.
And they had a headstone out there with Sam Story's name on it. They had a penny sitting right on the top of it.
In the head.
And we used to log around it, but we never did tear it down. We worked around there, I don't know how many years. And some of them say they done got rid of the headstone, got rid of the little penny. They say that penny was made 1943. Someone
wow.
said that. They got rid of all that. And then they said they dug it down and see what they could find. And never did find anything down
He
there.
wasn't born there. He wasn't buried there. No.
But he was not buried there.
Okay.
No, he was not buried there.
Okay,
They said he was buried somewhere else, but they put the headstone there.
right, right.
And he was, I had an aunt that was related to him,
Okay,
but she done passed it going, and her husband done passed it going, and I didn't get no information from
didn't
them.
get the information.
But information I have on that, they say some story had, well, first in that area, the whole tribe, the Seminole tribe lived in that area, in the swamps
In the
there,
swamp.
in
Wow.
around the river.
Okay,
And he had a son that married one of our people.
okay,
I think they said the McKinnons, he married one of the McKinnon girls, his son, and everything. And that's where we have a blood mixed in there, because my mother was part, you could tell she was part Indian and everything.
Okay.
But we don't have any blood from Sam Storage to say that we are.
Sure, sure, right.
That we have inherited from him.
Right,
You know.
right.
But like he say, from ever since we was kids, you know, that was Sam's story, and they had that landing down there, and like I say, we never touched the grave, you know. We always went by and admired it, and the penny was there. We didn't do anything to it.
Right.
But after other people come in, they have no
Desecrated.
reference to that. There, they just destroy it.
Started in there.
Right, but to your understanding, we don't think that that is actually his burial site,
No,
but
no.
that someone had maybe erected that as honor
Right,
to
as
him.
honor to him.
Right,
Yes.
right,
Yes.
yeah, how about that? Well, I know that there is a lot of stories that are around the county, and so we wanted to get as much information as we can about the history.
Yeah.
And it's important that we document that history, because as you were saying, your aunt and her husband has already passed on.
Well, both of them.
And so when people pass on and they have that information, if it's not logged or documented, unfortunately, we lose that
We lose it.
significant, we
Yeah.
lose it.
Yeah, we do.
And that's one of the important things about the Tivoli Historical Museum here, is that this information is able to be saved and shared
Right.
with the generations that are going to come after us. I think someone says very famously that if we don't know our history, sometimes we're bound to repeat it.
That's right.
And I firmly believe that. So anything else would you like to share with our audience in regards to Tivoli, about the history,
But
growing up here?
Well, I grew up at like I said, Red Bay and everything, and I came here to Tivoli, and everything we had here was wood built. We didn't have any brick or anything like that there.
Wow.
One building sat there and the other one sat along here, and our field was down there. And they didn't build that gym down there until I left. I left here in '56.
Okay.
So it wasn't no brick buildings here, nothing but wood buildings and
Okay.
everything. But we had good teachers and everything, and all that there, you know.
In 1956, when you graduated, did you leave the area?
I went to school in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville.
Water College in Jacksonville.
Okay, and then did you stay over there
I
for?
stayed there a while, but I came back home.
Came back
place
home.
back home.
There is no
But
place like that.
I came back here and I've been here ever since.
Been here ever
Yeah.
since. Out in the same area?
Well, I lived out there in Red Bay for quite a while after I got married, but then my wife wanted to move to town.
Uh-oh, big town of Defuniak.
We moved to town, but we found out that wasn't for us, so we moved back out to the country.
Yeah, very
it's
good,
here.
very good. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And yourself, any last parting words that you'd like to share with the
Well,
audience in
Well,
regards
I know
to?
that I went to school at Tivoli, like I said, you know, till my house burnt down.
Right,
And then I went to work, and I met my little Corinne,
oh, okay.
school horse sweetheart.
Oh, my goodness,
Yeah, she graduated in '55, and we married in '55.
wow.
And our dad, we had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl.
And a girl, okay.
And the 2 boys, they was in service. My daughter's right down there. One of my sons down there. And we stayed together, but I mean, we didn't leave Red Bay now.
You stayed in the
I
area?
stayed in the
Your
area.
whole life you stayed
I
there?
stayed in the big city of Red Bay.
Oh, my goodness.
And we stayed married for 60 years until he passed away about 3 years ago. And that's one of my granddaughters sitting over there looking at me.
Yeah, what a testimony. What a testimony.
Yeah.
What a testimony. Guys, again, we're here, Shani Betts, and I'm here with some wonderful gentlemen, and we're talking about the history of not just Tivoli, the school that was here and the other schools that were around the area, but also about just the history of Walton County. And we are very excited and are glad that you're tuning in, and we hope that you're able to get involved with the efforts that are going on in the restoration process for the Tivoli Gym. Your support, your prayers, any type of volunteer efforts that you would like to do would be greatly appreciated. Make sure you reach out to Keith at the Coastal Connection TV, and he can get you all of the information. But we look forward to the year of 2020 and what's about to happen for, I believe, not just for Tivoli, but for Walton County as a whole, for the whole county.
Whole county.
I feel like there's going to be some
Yeah.
great things happening. So guys, we thank you for tuning in today. I thank you so much for sharing, and I look forward to sharing some more. I don't think
Right.
that this will be the last time that we get together.
Okay.
So viewing audience, we thank you, and make sure that you share and like Coastal Connection TV on Facebook,
And I watch it every morning.
watch it every morning, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, good.
Hi, Coastal Connection TV viewers, Facebook watchers, and YouTube channelers. Shani Betts here, and I have a very special guest. We are at the Walton County School Administration offices today, and we have been very honored to do a tour of the Tivoli Historical Society. And the lady that I have with me today, Ms. Victoria Crystal, is what I would call the historian secretary.
Public Relations Director.
Public Relations Director. Okay, that's even better. I like the historical secretary. She does a little bit of all. And so, Ms. Crystal, thank you for taking the time to let us interview you and to hear and want you to share about exactly who you are and where do you come from before we get started into the whole talking of Tivoli.
Well, I was born and raised right here in Defuniak Springs, so I'm a true native of Florida. And by my grandmother.
Okay.
My mother died when I was 6 years old. She had 7 children, ranging in age from 9 to 1. And my grandmother took out 7 of us.
Wow.
And she raised us, and she was my hero. She gave us all of the spiritual, moral background that we needed
Wow.
in order to be, societal assets.
Yes.
In order to go out here. And although we might have stumbled a little bit, we always knew that we could fall back
Right.
on her.
And who was that? What was her name?
Her name was Clara Bell Harris. She was well
Clara
known
Bell
around.
She what a beautiful name. Clara Bell, I love that.
Yes, Clara Bell Harris. She was also a businesswoman. She was born like in 1900, but she could read and write. She conducted business. She sold vegetables and livestock. She sold all that. She had property. She rented.
And she did that here in the Walton County
Right.
area, Miss Crystal. So,
Right.
Miss Clara Bell Harris, she was from this area as well, which is your grandmother,
She's my grandmother.
which that's amazing that you've got that type of historical lineage here. That's beautiful. So she took 7 children. From my understanding, your mother had passed away
Right.
at a young age,
Yes.
and your grandmother took you and your 6 siblings and raised.
Her and my grandfather, yeah.
And your grandfather, okay, and your grandfather, okay, so
Yeah.
your grandfather was alive at that time.
Oh, yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes, but Big Mama, we called her, she ruled. She ruled.
Miss Clara Bell.
Yes, yes.
That's beautiful, I just love that name. So, grew up, went to school here,
Yes.
and where did we go to school?
Here and in Fort Worth, Texas.
Okay, so you did come to the Tivoli School, actually, you were
Oh, yeah, I
a
was-
student.
Yes, oh, very much so. I adore this school. The memories, they are still there, and I don't think I can ever forget some of the times that we had at Tivoli. It was really, to me, a great school, and I was one of those kids who would just pitch a fit if I had to miss a day.
Wow.
I didn't even want to miss a day. You know, we had great teachers, involved teachers, and they would help us. They would help the students who had talents but didn't have the funds to be able to purchase instruments or costumes or whatever. You could count on these teachers to come forward and help them.
Right.
The discipline. Everybody was disciplined by everybody.
It was that whole, they were parenting as well, you know, it was that whole, it takes a village.
It was a village.
And so it was a village in a sense,
Yes.
that everybody was family and everybody cared and took care of one another.
Absolutely.
Those are precious moments when you have that in your life, and it sounds like you had that all throughout your life.
Oh yes, yes.
And so graduating class of
1970.
1970, okay. And so I believe the last class that graduated from Tivoli was 69.
1969. Yes.
Okay, all right. And so then, have you always resided in the Walton County area, or did you leave and come back? A lot of folks do.
I never went anywhere for a long period of time.
Okay.
I lived in Biloxi, Mississippi for about a year. I went back to Fort Worth, Texas, and stayed there for about a year. And I lived in Detroit, Michigan for just maybe about 6 months.
Okay.
And but I always came back.
Always
home.
came back.
I always came back home. And then my grandmother died in 1976. And I came back for her funeral, and I never left again.
Never left, okay.
Yes, my brother was 1 year old when she took him, and he was graduating. She got sick. They took her to Detroit, her daughters, and that's where she passed. But he was a senior in high school.
Well.
It's like her job was
Mm-hmm.
finished.
Finished a legacy, yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
And he's done her real proud,
Wow,
actually. Yeah.
that's good. So tell us a little bit about your role with the Tivoli Historical Society. You are the PR director,
Yes.
so I'm sure that keeps you very busy. Tell us what it is exactly that Tivoli is trying to do. What is it that the society, the group of individuals, what is the goal? What is actually the mission and the vision of the Tivoli Historical Society?
Our main goal is that we don't want to lose Tivoli.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we have a vision. The Tivoli Gym restoration is a part
Yes.
of that. We want generations after generations to know to come here or wherever we are blessed to actually have a structure of our own, to see, to know, to ask questions, to see their great-great-grands or whoever, because a lot of them had, until the Tivoli group, which is on Facebook, we got some pictures we posted they had never seen
Wow.
these people
Okay.
as kids
Sure.
and whatnot. And we want to keep this alive.
Right.
And with the gym, we want to do even more. It's not going to be a sports center.
Sure.
We intend to have programs for educational purposes for
Yes.
children and adults,
Yes.
because there are a lot of adults who need to be educated in a lot of different areas also.
And a gathering place. One of the things that we lack when I was meeting with Mr. Williamson last week is that we have a civic center here, but it's a fee, a huge fee to charge to use it. And it's really not conducive for just sitting down and having a cup of coffee with somebody.
Right.
And as we talked through what you guys are doing and the efforts and the vision, you know, that it would be a place that people could come during the day and share stories, learn about the history of Tivoli, learn about where those individuals have gone on to be, and even their children's children and things of that nature.
Right.
So tell us, in closing, what are some of the needs? What have you seen as far as the needs? I'm sure volunteers, financial needs for the society to be able to help with the restoration, but tell us some of the things that you see that are a great need for your organization.
Yes, we really wish that the public would take more interest in it, and that because there is a lack of wherewithal. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there are no aspirations, and they don't seem to be as inspired
Right,
here,
right.
the young people. And we want to, like you say, we want to have a central place,
Yes.
so that we can we intend to have mentors.
Yes.
You know, perhaps some of the older ladies can mentor the young women,
Yes.
and the guys can mentor the young guys.
Right.
You know, to help them to know there is more that you can do.
Yeah.
You know, we are past the days of I can't do it because I'm black.
That's right.
Obama kind of put all that to rest.
Yes.
So now you can, if you want to,
That's right.
or if you're willing to work hard enough.
Right.
It's not always easy.
Right.
You know, but we definitely want to make DeFuniak better with the black kids, the black people, with the public in general. You know, we are all sort of now slowly intermingling, black and white, because we are all a part of Walton County.
Yeah.
Of DeFuniak.
Right.
You know, and just help each other out. But you know, our greatest need right now is monetary.
Okay.
You know, and we are kind of turtling along on that.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a real word.
That
but
sounds
it's
like a
not.
good word. Being turtling, I love it. I love it. That's one of my words that I would use, Miss Crystal. I love that.
Well, that's the right in me. I make up. I'm like Shakespeare. I'll make up a word.
That's right.
And
That's very good. So guys, we're sitting here today with Miss Victoria Crystal. She is the PR director for the Tivoli Historical Society. And if you want to get involved and would like to know more information, you can find them on Facebook. But you can also contact the station, and Keith will be more than glad to get you in contact with Mr. Williamson. He has the information, or any of the other board members. There is a board of directors. You guys are a 501c3,
Yes.
and you have already begun to receive some grant monies from St. Joe, from what we understand.
Yes.
But your contributions with finances, prayer, or labor, if you would like to volunteer and get involved, I'm sure that they would greatly appreciate that. And there's a lot of events I know that they're planning to do coming in 2020 that they're being talked about right now. So we just ask that you guys get involved, get informed, come to the beautiful Walton County Administration School Board building and walk through the artifacts. I can't stress it enough, the wonderful artifacts that they have in the cases that highlights the significance of the individuals that were a part of Tivoli along with the other schools that were here in the area. It's just amazing. I had never gone through, I didn't even know it existed to this degree. And apparently you guys have a lot more artifacts.
Oh my God, this is a pittance. We have tons and tons of stuff. People really, you know, when we started, people really started giving us all kinds of artifacts, all kinds of pictures, but we have nowhere to house them right at this moment.
Right.
You know. But our president is you know, he'll say the opening will be in the spring. He doesn't say if we get the funds to complete it. He is very positive.
He calls
and
those
has a lot
things
of
that are
faith.
not as though they are. I love that.
That's the word.
Yes.
Yes. And so with that attitude,
Yes.
you know, I can't help but believe that. Okay,
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a grand thing. And,
It is.
Celebration and opening and all. And next year also will be the 10th anniversary of the start of the Tivoli Historical Society.
Wonderful, and 10 is a very significant number. I'm all about me some numbers. It's about numbers of completion. And so, guys, again, we thank you for tuning in. We thank you, Ms. Crystal, so much for taking the time to share. I don't think it'll be our last time together. And again, guys, if you want to get more information regarding the Tivoli Historical Society, you can always contact Keith here at Coastal Connection TV, or you can contact Mr. Williamson, and Keith will have that information for you. So we thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Crystal, for sharing with us. Thank you, guys.